A pleasant day to each and everyone. We are Group 4 and we are going to discuss our topic about risograph and printing process. So here's our learning objectives about the risograph, its history and what risograph machine looks like and how it works, the printing process and the tin printing process and its importance. Risograph printing is a technique best described as digital screen printing. The process is similar to screen printing but with the convenience of an office copier. It's known for its vivid colors that other printers can produce and its specific textures. These machines deliver perfect imperfections and provide a cheap and easy method for reproducing work at large quantities like posters, prints, and signs. Popular kayo ang risograph printing kay gamit kay siya sa churches, community centers, and art studies due to their low expense and creative flexibility. This simple technology is highly reliable to compare to standard photocopier kay it can achieve 150 pages per minute og ang lifespan niya kay moabot og 100,000 to 5 million copies. Reso print looks more handcraft. The beauty of the process is that creates small mistakes. There's no print in trying to make it look perfect. It's perfect when printing text, fine lines, textures, marks, and photographs, blacky, crisp details, and textures and painterly marks can be easily achieved. Reso is the most eco-friendly printer on the planet kay gagamit ra siya og soy-based ink and banana paper stencils o gagamit pod og recycled paper to reduce our impact in the environment. Energy efficient with no harmful emissions and minimal waste, non-toxic, no nasty chemicals, all good stuff. Invented by Noboru Hayama, founder of Reso Kagaku Corporation, and Risograph 007 printed was first released in Japan in August 1986. Its function is often described as a mix between screen printing and photocopying.
The risograph is designed to bridge the gap between the photocopier and offset printing. Riso Kagaku Corporation is also the inventor and manufacturer of the world's fastest full-color inkjet printers, the ComColor series and the Kogo Pro digital screen printing machine. In 1946 to 1954, it is the startup stage foundation pursuing the ideal in the company named Riso, which means ideal in Japanese. Riso ink. Riso is adapting vegetable-based ink which is made from rice bran oil. Riso was the world's first to develop and commercialize rice bran oil ink for digital duplicator. Riso ink fill type color. In September 1946, the founder Noboru Hayama began a mimeograph printing service under the business name Risosha in Satagaya, Tokyo, Japan. In September 1948, Noboru Hayama changed the business name into Riso Printing and opened a mimeograph print shop in Nihonbashi, Tokyo, Japan. In March 1952, it is the started type character print service using the electric typewriters and printing machines, which were first brought to Japan from UK. In June 1954, the Riso ink was developed and launched. In the year 1955 to 1974, the first growing stage incorporation of the company, we shall win through honesty and creativity. So let's proceed to risograph. In January 1955, dissolved Riso Printing and incorporated the company Riso Kagaku Laboratory Limited. In December 1958, launched the Risograph, a mimeograph printing device. In January 1963, changed the name of the company to Riso Kagaku Corporation. In July to August 1965, established the Kasumigaura plant and started production there in August. In May 1967, launched the Risofax GF7, a thermal stencil master making device. In August 1968, moved the head office to Shimbashi, Tokyo, Japan, and then in May 1969 launched the Risograph JF8. In June 1969, opened local sales offices in major domestic cities such as Sapporo, Sendai, Nagoya, Osaka, Hiroshima, and Fukuoka, expanding sales in Japan. In May 1972, launched the Risograph app TU-230, a thermal filmmaking device for OHP and Riso OHP 750. And in the year February 1974, launched the Riso Xenofox FX150 and the Riso Xenomaster. So this is a risograph machine, a digital duplicator. So let's find out the different parts of the machine. So we have a paper tray. So this is where you place your stack of papers and rulers will feed it to the machine. The scanner or USB. You can send your file either through the powerful scanner bed or the USB cable. The controller panel. Here's where you talk to the printer. You can make a master start and stop printing, move the drums, and more. The master's making unit. Here you can find the master rule every time we send in the design the machine and burns a stencil before wrapping it around the drum. The drums, a key element of the machine, a physical piece you put in and take out manually. Each drum has its own color. The ink cartridge. The cylindrical tube holds the ink and sits inside the drums. This is the piece that gets replaced when ink is running low. So the delivery tray. This is where your paper will land after flying out of the machine. So how does risograph machine works? So number one, when you scan or upload an image to the machine, it first makes a paper stencils and wraps this around the ink drum. These are called masters. Our machine has two ink drums, so it can make two masters. It's important to note that every time we make a new master, the old one is lost forever. Second, paper is placed in the feeder where the machine swirls in the paper and adjusts the pressure depending on the weight of the paper. And the last one, paper is pressed and passed through one or both of the ink in drum before it comes out to the delivery tray. So what is the importance of risograph? Risograph shine most in situations where the artist or designer is effectively exploring the possibilities of the machine's spot colors, the overprints, and the relationship between the colors. The Riso is perfect for line drawings, watercolors, and pencils or charcoal drawings, as the detour screening involved makes the prints look like the original or at least very close to it. So the use of lithographs in offices. These devices are used for printing a large variety of printed materials including posters, business cards, invitations, certificates, and envelopes, catalogs, art prints, and letterhead.
So, printing process. Printing process means any operation or system wherein printing ink or combination of printing ink and surface coating is applied, dried, or cured, and that is a subject to the same emission standard. So there are 10 kinds of printing process. The first one is the 3D printing. The 3D printing, also known as additive manufacturing, is a method of creating a three-dimensional object layer by layer using a computer-created design. 3D printing is an additive process whereby layers of materials are built up to create a 3D part. So, ang 3D printing involves layering materials like plastics, composites, or biomaterials to create objects that range in a shape, size, rigidity, and colors. So, in offset lithography, the second one is the offset lithography. So, if offset lithography involves transferring the image onto an intermediate surface before printing it onto the final shade, rather than printing the image directly from plate onto paper, as is the case with the most printmaking techniques. So when we say offset lithography is often used to print high-quality promotional materials such as branded coasters, mouse mats, and product advertisers. It can also be used to print hotel overdoors, hangers, plastic menus, and thin cards, among other things. And then the third one is the flexography. Flexography is a form of rotary printing in which ink is applied to various surfaces by means of flexible rubber or other elastomeric printing plates. The inks used in flexography dry quickly by evaporation and are safe for use on wrappers that comes directly in contact with foods. So, flexography has been widely used as a quick and economical way of applying simple designs and areas of color to a wide variety of packaging materials such as paper and plastic containers, corrugated cardboard boxes, tape, envelopes, and metal foil. So, the other example of flexography that we usually use or kanang ato ra makita or atong ginagamit is example is a gift wrapper mo na siya isa ka example and a wallpaper.
The next is digital printing. Is a method of printing from a digital based image directly to a variety of media. It usually refers to professional printing where small run jobs from desktop publishing and other digital sources are printed using large format and or high volume laser of inkjet printing. Then the example of the digital printing is children books customized with a child's name, photo books such as wedding photo books or any other books. The next is gravure printing, also called intaglio pronounced with a silent, uses an indented area of the plate from which to print, and excess of fluid is applied to the plate and the excess is removed. This leaves the raised area free of ink and the ink is transferred from the depressed areas. And typically example of the gravure print in the packaging market are first is plastic bags, films over wraps, foils, labels, flexible packaging for foods product, ter tips, cartons, and wrapping papers. The next is a screen printing. The screen printing is a process of transferring a tensile design into a flat surface using a mesh, screen, ink, and squeegee. Fabric and paper are the most commonly screen printed surfaces, but with specialized ink, it's also possible to print onto wood, metal, plastic, and even glasses. The next is engraving. Engraving is the practice of incising a design into a hard, usually flat surface, but cutting globes into it with a boring. Example of contemporary uses for engraving includes creating text on the jewelry, such as dependents or on the inside of the engagement and wedding rings to include text such as the name of the partner or adding a winner name to a sports trophy. Another application of modern engraving is found in the printing industry.
Thermographic. The printer uses ink and powder resin combined with the heat to reproduce the raised lathering effect of engraving with a shiny finish. Kani siya is ang ink with the powder resin, ginabake then like rely siya sa heat to create letters and images on the sheet of paper na asud siya materials nga kung mabake siya molahi ang color sa result sa original nga color sa ink. Letterpress printing, also called relief printing, alterographic printing, and commercial printing, is the process by which many copies of an image are produced by repeated direct impression of an ink raised surface against sheath or the continuous roll of paper. Ang nag-invent ani is si Johannes Gutenberg tong 1450, the oldest tradition printing until na-develop ang lithography o offset lithography in early 20th. Risography is the reproduction of graphics through mechanical and electrical means such as photography and xerography. Reprography is commonly used in catalogs and achieved as well as in the architectural, engineering, and construction industries. An example is reprographics is book printing uses high-speed printing process. Importance of printing process can bring the overall look of your business to life just by having a good standard of printing with interesting fonts, colors, text, and images. Even the textures of your paper can interest as customer will lead them into curiosity of what documents is about if the texture is so good. Aside from that, printing is time saver since it could create many more copies at the fastest rate than even the best scribes. Allows you to target a much larger market, especially in local area that you be based.